Your Buffalo Bills get on the board in the preseason, winning 23-19 in the finale over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to break down that performance in an instant reaction on today's show. But before we do, guys, it is finally here. The regular season is upon us. And if you're ready for the Bills' regular season to get underway, because I feel like we haven't seen Josh play in an eternity right now, go down below and hit that thumbs up icon like today's video. What's going on, Bills Mafia? You're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith. And the Bills get a win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 23-19. On today's show, we're going to give you a little bit of an instant reaction and break down some individual performances from preseason week 3, as some guys barely made some names for themselves as roster cutdown day is only a few days away. Let's start with Shane Buechele, who got the start today after there was speculation that Mike White was going to play a good portion of the game. It was obviously known pregame that Josh Allen and Mr. Trubisky would not be suiting up, but Mike White was out there. He was on PrizePicks on their projections. Like, it was slated to play, and then they scratched him late. It seems like the Bills have kind of all but concluded their backup QB battle between Trubisky and White, and that gave Buechele the opportunity to shine. And boy, did he, man. 25 of 30, 278, and a touchdown, and he was absolutely making plays in the pocket, escaping the pocket. When he was flushed out, he would keep his eyes downfield. To me, he looked like a better preseason quarterback than Mike White has shown in the previous 2 games against Chicago and the Giants. So clap it up for Shane Buechele. I think there's a real case to be made that he should be the quarterback kept on the practice squad in favor of Mike White. So hats off to Buechele, man, for showing off. And I presume that he'll land on a practice squad somewhere else, if not Buffalo, due to this performance, man. It was really, really solid. Now, a receiver that has been really, really solid this entire training camp, Tyrell Shavers, man, you are the preseason darling, and boy, what a catch on that touchdown, bro. I mean, my goodness, you guys can check my Twitter at Tyler J. Smith, 2 H's. I posted the highlight over there. That was a put me on the damn roster type of catch. Draped all over the defender was, and he reaches out, grabs it with one hand, brings it all in with that same one hand, and got the feet down as well. Initially called incomplete. It was such a nasty catch, the ref couldn't even believe it. So Tyrell Shavers continues to make big plays when given the opportunity, and continues to provide special teams pluses as well. He made his name known again to Bills fans, and I would assume the general manager in the front office as well in tonight's action. Elijah Moore, a name I would say did not really give himself a leg up in the making the roster battle, if that's still being the case. But he didn't play coming out of the halftime break. So is that an indication potentially that he will be on the Bills 53-man roster coming up on Tuesday? I don't know, but man, throughout the preseason, he hasn't done himself any favors for the most part. Has not been inspiring. He's had a couple of drops, hasn't really done much with the ball in his hands either, and didn't really make an impact against Tampa Bay tonight. So could Elijah Moore be on the roster bubble? I'd say he definitely still is at this point, and he should not feel safe at all making the 53-man on Tuesday. KJ Hamler is a name who I thought was really solid in the receiving game tonight. Got some work in the return game too, and with Laviska Shenault and Brandon Cotterington really not shining much in this preseason, could Hamler, with his receiving ability, be the guy who they just default and go to as their returner, as the 2 other players, Cotterington and Shenault, don't provide a lot of positional versatility as a wide receiver for Shenault and a DB for Cotterington. So could Hamler, with a couple of nice preseason showings, be that guy who is the returner for the Buffalo Bills this upcoming year? I think he's clearly the best at his true position of those 3 cats. And look, man, I think Hamler could absolutely be a guy who can go out there and return kicks. And I think there's a chance that he could blossom up this receiving depth chart. Curtis Samuel didn't play in this game because he was dealing with an illness, a little tummy ache going on for Curtis Samuel, and that's just like not doing him any favors. He seems relatively safe to make the Bills 53 at this point, but Hamler has been out here grinding. He has been on the field. He's been in uniform, and I cannot say the same for Curtis Samuel here. So hats off to Hamler, and good job by Tyrell Shavers, again making a name for himself in this preseason game. He's going to make the 53-man, no doubt about it at this point. What's your one-word reaction to the Bills getting their first win of the preseason, wrapping up 1-2 and beating the Buccaneers? You let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. We have more players to talk about that made a big-time impact in this game, and some that relatively didn't in just a moment. But first, get hooked up with our proud sponsor of the program, and that is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. All you guys got to do is pick 2 players, 2 to 6 to be exact, and just pick more or less on their projected statistics. You can win up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills this year, so take advantage of it. And take advantage of all the awesome deals that PrizePicks has to offer. Like a free $50 for new users when you sign up using our promo code CLNS and place your first $5 entry. Easy winnings, easy withdrawals. Get it this season, this football season on PrizePicks. For preseason week 3 with the Buffalo Bills, I decided to go with a lineup that didn't exactly hit the mark. Mike White didn't play, so if a player doesn't play, don't worry. PrizePicks will just take that out of your lineup and just take it down to a 2-player lineup like I had with Frank Gore Jr. and Ryan Miller of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Frank Gore Jr., of course, he ended with 32 rushing yards, could not get my more than 33.5. And then Ryan Miller ended up with 18 receiving yards. So I went pretty cold right here, but I'm a regular season demon. Hit me up and tell my picks or fade them. Just do it at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't have to win that entry to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comments section and description of today's video. I don't know why it says Cole Bishop only is registered here for 1 tackle, because he made a couple of tackles on that opening series. On those 2 opening series for the Buffalo Bills, he was making awesome reads and definitely eased a little bit of the concerns that we had back in week 2 in his first action since returning from injury. He was really rough in the pass game, but he didn't get a ton of those opportunities out tonight, but he made some nice breaks on the football when they were in the air, and he really made some nice reads in the run game as well. The first play from scrimmage tonight for Buffalo on the defensive end, Cole Bishop was sent on the edge on a blitz, and he got into the backfield to get close to the quarterback there and affected the play. So Bishop with a nice bounce back here in the preseason finale that I would think makes Bills fans a little bit more confident in preseason in the regular season week 1, as DeMar Hamlin was maybe trending in that direction. Bishop might be that starting safety opposite Taylor Rapp. Another player who absolutely dominated, in my opinion, tonight, Deone Walker, man, had a QB hit registered, a TFL, and he was stuffing the any type of run game that the Buccaneers were trying to register in this one. I think this is a player, a serious player. Bills went out and drafted him in the 4th round. This could be a mid-round steal from this draft. And look, man, the Bills have question marks in their run defense in the interior of that defensive line. So if Deone Walker's making plays like this, then I am all for him, making an impact and being a part of the Bills' rotation here on that defensive line. He has shown it multiple times throughout this preseason that he can play and be a force to be reckoned with in the middle. He's 345 pounds, and he ended up tackling the 165-pound, shifty 5'8" Tez Johnson at some point in this game. Deone Walker, you're an absolute player, and I can't wait to see you on Real Deal Sundays. And that's where you guys will be getting the best content here at the Bills Breakdown. That's why you subscribe, because we will be live like we were for all the preseason. We'll be live in the regular season as well. Sunday Night Football, Carrie Underwood, NBC, Chris Collinsworth sliding into your TV screens. We will be live for that game against the Baltimore Ravens, so subscribe and turn your notifications on. We also upload daily Bills videos, just like the one you're watching right now. Breaking news coverage. When that roster drops, we got you guys with a video. It's all 100% free content here on the Bills Breakdown, so join the 5,000 strong members of Bills Mafia here on the channel today. Hit that sub button. Moving on here to the Bills run game a little bit, because 2 of these guys that were taking the majority of the Bills carries today are not going to make the 53-man roster. And it's unfortunate because Frank Gore Jr. belongs on a 53-man roster. I think he's too talented to be sitting around on a practice squad. But given the situation that he might not, it is all likelihood not going to make this roster. The talent ahead of him on the team is just too good. Ty Johnson, your 3rd down back. Ray Davis, you're a bruiser that's probably just a better, more souped-up version of Frank Gore Jr. And then obviously the home run hitter, big contract, James Cook. Gore was solid in his opportunities tonight. I know it's only 3.5 yards a carry, but I mean he has shown that he's a really, really physical runner, and he belongs on a 53-man. And if he decides to spend time on the practice squad with your Buffalo Bills this upcoming year, then you know what? That is just another cherry on top type of luxury for the Bills. Christian Wilkerson here is a player who I would really love to see on the Bills practice squad again. He made some nice grabs in this one, man, and he's just a player, it seems to me. He fights for extra yardage a whole heck of a lot. He evades tacklers, like pretty solid with the ball in his hands, and is really sure hands too for a Bills wide receiver depth chart that has a lot of question marks and a lot of drops and a lot of miscues throughout this preseason. I like Christian Wilkerson a lot, man. He seems a little bit reliable to me, and I would very much welcome him on the practice squad. Not exactly a 53-man roster guy for me, but he's made some plays for the preseason that warrant him coming back to Buffalo during the week. And Zach Davidson as well, man. I think that there's a chance the Bills keep him over Jackson Hawes, one of their late-round draft picks, but maybe they just take a chance on keeping Hawes in the 53 to see what they have with him. But Davidson, man, he was making some plays today. He also had a 62-yard punt as Bills punter Brad Dobbins was not a part of the team today. He was also dealing with an illness and did not make the trip down. So Zach Davidson had to go out there and punt. He boomed one for 62 yards. It was unbelievable. So shout out to him. He also got Shiloh Sanders ejected in this game as well. Got a punch thrown at him, and he did the too small celebration and taunt right after Shiloh got cooked by the refs. So Zach Davidson, you earned a fan in me today. That was awesome to watch when there's not that much awesome stuff going on in preseason week 3. Grade the Bills, though, versus the Buccaneers. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys thought of this week 3 performance down in the comments section. What do you guys think, Bills Mafia? I want to know. As far as the Bills' whole preseason goes, let's just talk about the offense real quick. We didn't see Josh, so not really much matters, to be quite honest with you. The players that will maybe see time, or will definitely be seeing time in the Bills' starting unit this upcoming season, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, didn't show all too much. They didn't really play all too much outside of that first series or so against the Giants. So there's not too much to take away. We didn't see James Cook. We saw Ray Davis sparingly. We saw Ty Johnson sparingly. So really not going to see all too much. A player that I'm pretty concerned with continues to be Dalton Kincaid. He fumbled a couple of practices ago for the last practice of training camp, and he just has not been the player that the Bills had hoped he was when they drafted him in the first round. So I'm going to be looking for him to make a big-time leap this upcoming season. They need a more reliable option at that tight end spot. I like Dawson Knox, but he's not that number one anymore. Need Dalton Kincaid to make a big leap this upcoming season, but we haven't seen that yet in the preseason in his limited action. The Bills' defense, look, man, they haven't seen a ton of starters on that end either, and they're banged up, and there's questions at safety. And look, that's been the Achilles heel. The Bills in the playoff losses, their last 5 playoff losses, they've allowed 33 points per game on the defensive end. So there's question marks, there's holes, but at the end of the day, this team lives and dies by number 17. We're going to see him in a couple of Sundays, but we didn't get to see him in these 3 preseason weeks. So there's really not that much to go off of and judge and take away from when it's all said and done. That's what joint practices are for, and they look pretty solid throughout all of those. That will do it for today's edition of the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. Make sure you give me a follow over on Twitter at Tyler J. Smith because the name is pretty common, but I am not. And make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well. We'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. We're doing winners and losers from preseason on the channel as well. And then we'll be breaking down our final roster projection on Monday, breaking down the live roster on Tuesday, and then so on and so forth as we are kicking in to high gear. Bills regular season on the way. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go Buffalo.